Hi, I'm here to talk about Bismarck Waldstein. Bismarck, of course, not on the cover. Bismarck is a member of the Knight of the Round, but he's specifically the Knight of the highest honor. He's considered the basically the big knight in charge, basically. The one that Emperor Charles respects the most. And Charles and Bismarck, they're kind of buddies. They're friends. They get along well. And Bismarck has a genuine respect for Charles and seems to think what Charles is doing is actually right. Uh, Bismarck, working for the Emperor, specifically the knight he trusts the most, so he could seem like a very bad guy. And he's definitely very intimidating and menacing. He does seem to have real respect for Charles's vision. Too bad that Charles has a messed up vision and is a very villainous person. So that's unfortunate for Bismarck. But Bismarck is a character that kind of shows up a bit later. We don't really see him as often as Gino or Anya, and that could seem like a missed opportunity. It's like, oh, this is the big nine in charge. This is the character that should show up a lot, especially since Charles is often working behind the scenes. You think you'd see Bismarck a lot, and he'd be a major villain and stuff. And we don't necessarily see him that much, but when we do see him, he makes up for uh, not showing up the most by being a very intimidating character. He proved that he earned his high ranking position by being the most intimidating out of all of the knights. He really poses a huge threat to Suzaku, and we get a pretty surprising thing with Bismarck, so I am going to mention that. So if you don't want to know what that is, you could turn off here. But because this is just too cool to not bring up. Okay, what it is that Bismarck, he has a Gios. Yes, he actually has a Gios. And what's really interesting is C2 has poked fun at Lelouch for using his Gios too often. But Bismarck is a much different case. He has this Gios. I think he would use it often, especially since he's a knight. He would use it in battles all the time. But he decides to only use it when it's like really, really rare special occasions. Like, basically, it's not something he just relies on. He only uses it if it's like, if he's going up against one of the biggest opponents he's ever faced. And as far as we know, he's only used it twice. And so that's fascinating. Well, he only used it for two different people, and so that was great. And so Bismarck, a very intimidating villain, a very cool knight, a very cool character with some very cool abilities. So he didn't necessarily have the most screen time, but he had a strong presence and was a welcome addition to season two. Of course, some additions to season two, like Rolo, were not welcome additions, but Bismarck, he was a good addition. I like him.